It's the Chad and Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. The Fix California Hour coming up after the news at 1. Seneca Scott joins us. And Randy, it looks like we're back up on YouTube.
Well, kind of. I wanted to see if it was something on my end or if it was something on YouTube, and it does seem to be working fine if I plug it into the YouTube channel that I have, not the company's one. The bureaucracy is real. So if you do want to see it on YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. Search Randy Wang Radio on YouTube. But we're also on Facebook, on KABC, on KSFO's Facebook, Johnny Don't Like on X, and Randy Wang Radio on Twitch. We're all over the place. Look at these comments that are rolling in. Linda writes in and says, congrats, I did a Google on the YouTube for the first day yesterday, and now I'm executing a Facebook Live. You're helping me with my tech education. I have my radio for backup just in case. This is fun. And Bridget writes in, I love Seneca Scott, which is great. If everything works out, Seneca's going to be live on the video. Fingers crossed.
Let's go to Amy in San Clemente. Amy, hello.
Hi, John. Hey, I can't believe you don't know what Safe and Sane fireworks are. They're the ones that they sell at those little stands that pops up this time of year. In Orange County, there's only a couple cities that can sell those. I know Costa Mesa is one of them. But I did a report on this when I was in the 4th grade, and that was in 1964. So... and I'm still laughing about the pig's feet. But that's my comment.
Well, if you were to pin me down and say, John, just give me a guess. What does Safe and Sane fireworks mean? My guess would be it's when someone lights them off and they're only moderately drunk. They're not obliterated.
Oh, that's what they're, they do have those stupid little snakes, but they're the sparklers and the small cones that, you do it in the street. And like I said, Orange County's real strict on that. You have to have a permit to sell at the stands. And actually, my brother-in-law did that about 30 years ago. But anyway, so that's my comment. And yeah, the pig's feet thing was pretty funny. Have a happy 4th.
You too. Thank you for the call.
Johnny, we're getting requests now for things that maybe we'll play if we have nothing to do at 2:30. Monica wants to know if we can play the Katie Porter phone call. Everyone requests that. It's the most requested thing that we get on this show. The story of a listener told to us secondhand about a buddy of his that allegedly went home with Katie Porter.
To go back to that caller, the more I think about this, these Safe and Sane fireworks, these small fireworks, may not be a good idea after all, Randy.
And why's that?
Think about this. If they're going out and telling the community the only Safe and Sane fireworks out there are fireworks that are small enough to fit in a mailbox, they might regret that.
It doesn't matter what we say is safe and sane. There are too many people doing this to be able to police it. Now, in certain communities, they can definitely police it. For instance, there are certain parts of California where when they ban fireworks, they mean it. And that includes in Carmel by the Sea. They make sure you don't hear a single firework out there. But in cities like Burbank, they make sure if somebody launches anything, because someone did it at a house party I was throwing about 10 years ago, the cops show up at your doorstep within 5 minutes. And then they found out that we had a fire pit we weren't supposed to have. So thanks for that, Adam.
And you still got TSA pre-check?
But in the city of Los Angeles, the problem is so widespread, the police throw their hands up in the air. There is little to nothing they can do. They can do these big busts of these big warehouses, but more of it is coming in every single day because the average resident of Los Angeles doesn't give a crap about the threat of fire. They like to see things go boom.
And we've seen this before, including In the Inland Empire, remember this? There was a large fire that was started by a gender reveal party when they set off what really looked like a bomb out in the middle of a dry, brushy area. It got away from them and then turned into a massive fire. I think they were criminally charged for that, if I recall correctly.
They were, because the blue bomb didn't go off as expected and it torched a whole bunch of brush. I think a home or two got lost in that fire as well.
The gender reveal parties really involved a lot of explosives there for a while.
I feel like that trend is over. Hopefully it is. Or maybe I just stopped getting invited to baby showers.
Or maybe they just do it when the kid's 17 and can pick their own gender.
You know, that's true. What's the point of having a gender reveal party if gender is fluid?
All right, we've got 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. The Fix California Hour is coming up next. We're going to check in with our pal Seneca Scott from Oakland, who is our eyes and ears in that city, who knows all of the dirty little secrets behind the politicians and the power players that run the city, the other city by the bay. You do not want to miss that. Make sure you stick around. We've got 2 more hours. We're live right here on the John Phillips Show.
not right here.
Crime is up all over the state.
The homelessness in the city is out of control.
The economy is sick. Taxes are high.
Housing is expensive and businesses are leaving.
California needs fixing. And John Phillips is just the man to lead the charge. It's the Fix California Hour with John Phillips and Randy Wang.
And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we are streaming live on the AM radio. We're streaming live on AM streaming, and we're also live on video. We are at X at Johnny Don't Like, the KABC Facebook page, the KSFO Facebook page. We're on Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. All of these links are at KABC.com or KSFO.com. And temporarily, we are back up on YouTube on my personal channel at Randy Wang Radio. And you can comment in there. And in fact, the comments for that go right there on the screen, and I can put them on there. Radio Roger writes in is saying, thanks, Randy. You need another person to monitor all these apps, to which I said, we don't have a budget for that.
800-222-5222 if you'd like to call into the program, 1-800-222-5222. And right now, it is our pleasure to welcome our next guest to the program. He is the host of the Gotham Oakland podcast, which you can find on YouTube. He's also a Bay Area political consultant who you can follow on X at Seneca Speaks 21. Seneca Scott, welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. Both of you at the same time.
Well, thanks for stopping by. And you are our first guest ever on video on the program.
What an honor. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for stopping by. All right, so let's start out to finding out if there's any update on our pal Sheng Tao, the former mayor of Oakland, who was arrested by the feds, who's being charged with various crimes related to corruption. We know that she was working with her attorneys to try to figure out what the strategy would be. Do we know anything about what Sheng plans on doing?
Nothing definitive, just the rumor mill. But the scuttlebutt is that people are talking plea bargains, and we will not have the joy of having a trial, which I want a trial. You guys know I want all the snitching to happen so people can see just how corrupt things were inside the city of Oakland. But I think that there's been an enormous amount of pressure to avoid that, and that the Sheng, her boyfriend Andre, and the Duong family are allegedly discussing snitching on the Bontas. So that's all scuttlebutt, nothing concrete. But my sources they tend to be not too bad. So we'll see what happens.
Well, on the subject of the Bontas, that's an interesting subject that you brought up, because we have seen a lot of figures, bold-faced names in California politics on the radar of the feds. We can start out with Sheng Tao and her partner, Andre. There she is right behind you. And, of course, we also have California Waste Solutions and the Dong family, everyone associated with them. We've seen other politicians in East Bay cities, including Brian Acevedo, who's already cut a deal with the feds. And then you move to Sacramento, and you have Dana Williamson, the former chief of staff for California Governor Gavin Newsom. You have the chief of staff for the current Democratic nominee for governor, Javier Becerra, who is already cutting a deal with the feds. And now we have the story that Gavin Newsom himself is being looked at by the feds. He is the source of that. We don't have any of that confirmed by the feds, but he's saying that they're looking into the business dealings of his wife, and that is the subject of an investigation at the federal level. And so what I hear most from people when they hear all of these investigations are going on, all of these people are being looked at, how in the world is it that Rob Bonta has avoided the attention of the feds?
Well, he is the attorney general of the most powerful, or at least the most important state economically in the country. Up until less than 2 years ago, the president for 4 years was a close ally of his, and the vice president was a former, not former, but a colleague of his. Quick fact, for those of you who don't know, who don't follow myself or this program, it was Kamala Harris's personal lawyer, who is now the lawyer for Shin Tao. So I think that he was being protected, like many of the Democrats are being protected from the waste, fraud, and abuse that is pretty much party wide. And I'm not saying it's unique to only Democrats, but I think he was being protected. And also, these sorts of criminal investigations take some time, especially when you're talking about federal cases to build. And so it is very conceivable that if you, and also one thing to note, Harmeet Dillon, who has a big bone to pick with a lot of these people, comes from San Francisco, and she is the Attorney General for Civil Rights appointed by President Trump. So even if they started investigating on day one of taking office, you probably wouldn't see anything to write about now. So the timeline matches with the administration and the change in the power. That's my hypothesis, anyway.
And of course, you mentioned that there are negotiations that are taking place right now with some of these people who have been accused of crimes. And if they know information related to the Bontas or anyone else that's of interest to the feds, that could be used to make sure they spend less time in prison or their sentence is less severe. So that's something that could be being negotiated right now as we speak.
That is speculation, far as I know. But if I was in the position of definitely Shintao, who didn't allegedly have a pardon already negotiated with Trump, as the Duong family is alleged to have. If you remember, they sought special permission to travel to the inauguration. And again, it's alleged that they bought a permit or that they arranged, not a permit, arranged for a, what do they call that, a pardon. So anyway, that's all speculation, but Xing Tao is poor. She doesn't have any resources. She's depending on the Duongs or whoever's paying for her lawyer. We haven't figured that out yet. I doubt that Jeffrey Tsai is working for free with no benefit to himself to protect someone who, again, is already been sort of cast aside by the Democratic Party. So the only thing I could think of is that they're protecting her because she knows things that could bring down Rob Bonta and his wife, Mia Bonta. So I think we're going to see some explosive things happening this summer. At least I hope that we will. And, you know, Shing, if you're listening, just snitch. Just snitch. You don't deserve this. Much more powerful people who have done much more crime than you are going free while you're taking the brunt of the blame. That is one thing that I do agree with her from her famous speech when she was like, I'm not going down like that. It's one thing I agree. If she was rich, it wouldn't be happening to her. Look, it happened to Newsom, his wife, or the Bontas. But hopefully that's changing, and California will see some justice for the California crime family, as I call them. I mean, they have run roughshod over us and got filthy rich in the process.
Well, maybe Shang's listening. Maybe Shang's watching. You never know.
Never know.
All right, let's shift gears here and talk about the election that took place earlier this week well, I guess it would be Colorado this week, New York last week. We saw similar results in Maine, where DSA candidates came on strong against Democratic incumbents, sometimes longtime Democratic incumbents. In New York, 3 of them were endorsed by the mayor, Mayor Mamdani, and he went 3 for 3 in that election. We have an upcoming election in the state of Michigan where another DSA candidate could take out another longtime Democratic congressman. One could be the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate in a statewide race there. And it looks like the wind is at their back right now. And it's not just in one geographic area. It happened in Maine, New York, Colorado, could be Michigan, could come here to California. We know that Doris Matsui is being challenged for re-election in the Sacramento area. Do you see the DSA right now on the ascendancy, thinking that the sky is the limit?
Absolutely. So when you're talking about the populist pendulum in history, not just America, but let's just take America for a second. When you're talking about how pendulums swing and how the oscillations get larger and more volatile as you get closer to collapse, which mimics financial markets, political markets work the same. So when you're talking about the populist pendulum, let's go back to Bush. Then we had Clinton. Then we had W. Then we had Obama. Then we had Biden. Then we had, I'm sorry, then we had Trump. Then we had Biden. Then we had Trump again. That Biden, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump again, that is that pendulum oscillations getting faster and bigger and more volatile. When you look at populist pendulums in history, they tend to get stuck and broken on the side of communism, right? So when people can no longer compete economically, they compete for more superiority. That's the first part that the soggies, the communists, are wisely able to exploit. But I want to speak for a second about the rise of a democratic socialist of American candidates. This is very important. They deserve the wins. Besides the cheating, I'm not cheating notwithstanding, it looks like they're actually putting on their Hokas or their shoes, their Nikes, whatever you wear out here. I wear Hokas. But and they're knocking on doors, they're knocking on thousands of doors, and they're spreading their ideas to people who are upset, many of them who are insecure about their finances. And when you time that with the rise of AI, with our economy transitioning once again, and we've done this before, from horse and buggies to automobiles to the rise of AI, to the rise of first tech. I mean, this is, we know how this works, right? And so we're going to have an adjustment, and that adjustment is going to come with some growing pains at best. And so a lot of people right now are not doing well financially. It opens up a door for that sort of populism to become popular, especially amongst young people who feel like their future, their economic future, has been robbed from bad policies. And they have a right to be upset. They have a right to be upset. We have a right to be upset. But the anger is being misplaced skillfully because they know how to exploit that lack of organizing ability amongst the right or center or whatever. So it's like, I'm trying to end this rant here. I don't want to go too long, but it's like that game of Mafia. You guys know the game of Mafia or Vampire? It goes by different names. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So there's a game called Mafia, and basically it works like this. Oh, let's say Vampire. It's funner to talk about Vampire. So you have a village, and 2 people or 4 people are picked to be vampires. And the rest of the village, let's say 50 people, are all villagers. Only the vampires know that they're vampires, and they all know who each other are, which means that they can coordinate. Now, every morning, the villagers have to take a vote of who's the vampire. They get 1 vote per day, and they can oust and kill the vampire. If they kill all 4 vampires before the vampires have majority, the villagers win. And if the vampires manage to stay alive, then till they get simple majority, then they win. Vampires win the majority of the time. Why is that? Because when you can coordinate lies and deceit and the other people don't know what's happening, it's very simple to operate in that, especially once you're able to gain footholds of power, because people tend to trust people in positions of power. That's why the DSA focuses heavily on local elections and moves outward from those local elections to gain national power. So they're very skilled. But what you're looking at, now I just talked about the political side of it, and the political side of it is fair game. Everybody has the right to share their ideas. If I want to run for office and I want to pass a policy that everybody must wear white, and that's the rules I want to pass, and I'm able to get people to vote for me and pass those policies, that's the way we've set this game up here, right? As long as you're not cheating in these elections. The bigger issue is the cheating in the election, the dark money, the NGO complex, the donor advised fund network, the fact that they're able to move around all of this money and capital to be able to spread their lies and deceit, because it costs a lot more money to spread a lie than it does to tell the truth. So how do you fix it? Moderates and conservatives and all the people who are not soggy need to come together, put down their differences, and make sure that we can spread information at the same pace. That's why AI is a huge game changer. There is a role in artificial intelligence and civic renewal, from creating websites and media outlets that are quicker, from grabbing information and being able to share that information in a timely, relevant, and actionable fashion to the people who are watching. right? And so when we are in a fight, this is low intensity conflict. We have a lot of foreign enemies. Some of them we earn. Some of our foreign enemies we earn by doing the exact same destabilization we're seeing in our government to those countries. And that's the honest to God truth. And so, hey, I live in America. I'm not moving anywhere. I want to see my country succeed. But we have to understand the root cause of this issue if we're going to solve it. We are at war. These people who are the DSA does not answer to Americans. They answer to their foreign operatives. Their agenda does not benefit Americans. It benefits the destabilization of America. And you can see that being carried out in every city that they control.
Let's talk about two races that are going to be coming up on the November ballot here in California that look very similar to some of these other races that we've seen in the past, where you have longtime Democratic politicians who have done a very poor job in office, who want another 4 years running their respective cities. We have Karen Bass in LA, who's running against a DSA candidate, Nithya Raman. And in Oakland, we have Barbara Lee, who, while she isn't a longtime mayor, she moved over from the congressional seat, is a longtime fixture in East Bay politics. Do you see both of them as being extremely vulnerable to the DSA this cycle?
So, yes, Karen Bass, yes, she's going to lose to Nithya. The only way I don't see Nithya winning is if Spencer Pratt somehow makes an organized act for his followers to vote for Karen Bass as the lesser of two evils, or the devil that you know versus the devil that you don't, and that the DSA is that much more dangerous. That notwithstanding, I don't see Karen Bass beating Nithya because of the ground game of the Saugis. When it comes to Barbara Lee, actually, no one's running against her, at least not that I know of. You have to start a little bit early to unseat someone like Barbara Lee. We've only had one Zoran Mandami clone into this elected cycle, and that's in District 2 with the cookie cutter, the exact same approach and as Zoran took, which is effective, by the way. I don't blame him for copying it. But I don't see anyone challenging Barbara Lee from the left, although I wish that would happen because somehow she gets to fake progressive while approving license plate readers and wants drones and stuff. All the things progressives and that claim that they don't want, they give Barbara Lee a pass for because it allows them to keep power and keep getting money from the city of Oakland, who controls $2 billion a year that we spend for our budget. And so I don't think it's going to happen in Oakland. I do think she's vulnerable from a moderate. See, in Oakland and San Francisco, we beat the Saugis. We moderated our cities for the most part. And the evidence of that is the fact that Oakland and Alameda County just last night or 2 days ago approved flock cameras, which is like a big no-no for any progressive area. They don't like flock at all. And so the fact that we're able to routinely get these things passed shows that we've moderated San Francisco and Oakland. I mean, look, we've cut a bunch of heads off, bro. We cut off both DA's heads. We recalled a mayor, 3 school board members in San Francisco, another board of supervisor or something, Joe over that highway. I mean, you mess around over here, you get your head cut off. So, like old girl right here. So I'm not worried about it from the left, but I do wish that someone would run to the right or to the moderate, to the middle from Barbara and expose the fact that she's just a complete. You know what? If you're watching and listening, you're going to get this first. Don't tell anybody the secret, though. If you're watching and listening, do not betray the trust of this club. But I'm going to file for mayor, and my platform is going to be, I'm only running because there's a 8.5% chance that Barbara Lee dies before November 5th because she's 80. And there's a 35% chance she dies during her term over 4 years if she wins. And that's going to be it, because I don't have time to run for mayor. I'm doing too much around the country. But I will use all the clout I have, if any, to draw attention to her advanced age and the fact that you're really putting the city of Oakland in the hands, who's actually for more power, by the way, and a stronger mayor charter amendment in the hands of an 80-year-old who's already showing evidence of dementia and being a sundowner. I mean, it's just a joke. Oakland is a joke right now. Anyone supporting Barbara Lee, You know why you're doing it. You're doing it because it puts you close to power. You don't usually be thinking this lady is capable of running the city. That means you're a joke too. You're a grifter. You're doing it for your own personal gain. While Oakland suffers, and shame on you. And I'm not going to drop any more f bombs on the show, but or middle fingers. But you know what I would say if I wasn't restricted.
All right, we have some breaking news there. Seneca Scott, the host of the Gotham Oakland podcast. You can follow him on X at Seneca Speaks 21. Seneca Scott, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Anytime, John and Randy.
It's the John Phillips Show. Okay, let's get real for a moment. If you've been injured, car accident, motorcycle, slip and fall, the lawyer you choose matters. And I'm telling you right now, do your homework. Before you hire any personal injury attorney, pull out your phone, look them up, read the reviews. Clark Fielding has successfully represented so many of our KABC listeners, and it shows. 5 stars on Google, 5 stars on Yelp. Now compare that to everyone else on the billboards, and you'll see ratings all over the map. Some good stars, plenty of bad ones. That should tell you something. When people are hurt, stressed, and vulnerable, reputation and results aren't optional. They're everything. If you've been injured and want real answers, call Clark Fielding at 833-88-SHARK. That's 833-88-SHARK. Or find him online at clarkthesharklaw.com for a free consultation. Look him up, read the reviews, and decide who you want on your side. That's Clark Fielding, the Jaws of Justice, at 833-88-SHARK. It's the John Phillips Show, and boy, oh boy, Randy, are the comments on fire.
Roger writes in on YouTube at Randy Wang Radio, Oakland, the golden jewel to the golden stool.
Fix California Hour continues in moments. Don't you go anywhere. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is a telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. And Randy, this is the first week you can not only listen to us do the show, but watch it live and participate in real time.
That's right. We are now live video streaming this noon to 3 show every single day. You can see us on X at Johnny Don't Like, and if you reply to that tweet, then all of a sudden your comments show up here. We can even put them on the screen. You can also get us on KABC's Facebook page. I believe it's KABC Radio, so make sure you follow that. And if you comment on that, it shows up, and we can put those comments on the screen. We're also on KSFO's Facebook page on 810 KSFO, and we are currently on my Twitch at Randy Wang Radio and my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. If you comment on any of those or play in the chat room, we get to see your comments. We get to post your comments, like Monica saying, "Johnny's so cute."
I like that comment.
We also want to encourage you to help us spread this show as wide as possible. Now that we are breaking into the internet finally, after doing radio for 20 years, it's time to push this thing as far as it can go, and you can help out with that. Share this feed, whether you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, or Twitch. Just share it on your wall. Share it with your friends. Text your friends the link, what have you. We want as many people watching this every single day from noon to 3 as possible.
And, of course, if you want to email us, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And you can call in at 800-222-5222. And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
And, Randy, this one involves gift cards.
Specifically, a contractor that got scammed into buying $4,000 of gift cards. Gift cards only have two purposes: a last-minute gift for your nephew because you forgot it was their birthday, and scams.
Well, you know what they say, Randy, when it comes to Christmas shopping, you always find that perfect gift at that very last gas station you shop at.
For more on this, we go to NBC7 in San Diego.
Many companies that sell gift cards have voluntarily adopted measures to try to keep their clients' money away from the hands of scammers. But these measures were simply not enough to prevent a local contractor from getting thousands taken from him. Sergio Flores from NBC7 and Telemundo 20 Responds shows us what some states are doing about this kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, Monica and Catherine, it was really a tough spot for Jay Bernal out of San Diego. He says the pressure he was under to buy gift cards was so overwhelming, and you'll see why in a moment, that it blinded him to the scam.
Fear motivates you to do very, very, very stupid things.
You sound like someone who's taken many corporate cybersecurity classes.
It's almost like I have to take one every 2 months.
Wishes.
Usually during the show when John's interviewing a guest. Not doing that on my own time.
The store where he bought them, well, maybe would have done more to help him.
Jay Bernal says at 66 years old, he's still laying it down with the best of them. For almost 40 years, he's worked hard to earn every dollar and a good reputation. And so he was shocked when suddenly his good name was associated with a heinous and disgusting crime by who he thought was a federal agent who said his computer had been hacked by criminals, as was his soon-to-be frozen bank account.
Red flag, red flag, red flag. At no point are the feds ever going to call you out of the blue and say, "Oh, your bank account's frozen. You've been hacked. Someone bought a bunch of child porn. We need money." This is why we do these stories, because it's all about awareness at this point. It is impossible to stop these. John, you talk about all the time how when we busted up El Mencho, there's an entire farm of people just defrauding the elderly in Mexico. The entire economy of Cambodia is built on scamming American old people. We cannot shut this stuff down fast enough. So the only thing you can do is educate the people in your circle, in your family, all the signs that you're about to be scammed.
Yet they keep falling for it.
He offered to move his money to a secure Federal Reserve while they investigated.
There were little red flags going out in my head, but then the allegations of child pornography were...
Here's a question. and maybe I don't want to know the answer to this, and I don't think our audience knows the answer to this, but where do you buy the supposed things that you're not supposed to be buying that all of a sudden got flagged by the FBI?
Probably not Etsy.
Facebook Marketplace?
Very serious also, and that weighed against my intuition of, oh, there's something wrong here.
Jay says he gave the fake federal agents remote access to his accounts, but he wasn't able to move his money. So the man then suggested a different way, Lowe's gift cards.
Red flag number 74.
Okay, at what point? Now, we have sympathy for this guy because he was taken for a ride. But at what point do you say, all right, you are so stupid, I'm not going to say you deserved it, but my sympathy is just limited. I'm sorry.
Again, these people are all thinking very irrationally. Fear can motivate you to do very, very stupid things because you are not in your right mind when you are, if you believe that all of a sudden your whole life is in shambles, you have so many things running through your brain. We see this over and over and over again. I would not say, this man's not even that old. He's in his 60s, but this stuff happens so often. The only thing you can take from it is that fear changes the way that your brain works.
Maybe.
At that point, I figured he must have me on a map or something because, you know, there's a Lowe's really close by. So
he says 5 minutes later, he went.
Yeah. At what point does the federal agent say, okay, well, you gave us your bank password, but that didn't work. How about a bunch of Lowe's gift cards?
That's how the U.S. government takes payment.
Into this store in Mission City, a manager increased the gift card limit from $500 to $2,000.
Okay, now there's another red flag here. And this is a red flag not just on this poor contractor, but also on the people at Lowe's. Why would anyone need a $2,000 gift card to Lowe's?
Okay, but isn't this guy a contractor?
Yes. But
Okay.
Why would anyone need a $2,000 gift card?
I don't know. If he's someone in the business, they do large transactions.
Not usually in gift cards.
He bought 2 of them. He says he was in and out in about 15 minutes with the scammer listening in on his phone he held in his hand.
This is the other red flag. They always say you need to stay on the phone with me the entire time because if you hung up that phone, some sense might get knocked back into your head that you're being scammed. But as long as they can keep you on the hook, I mean, there are scripts for this. It's almost like you have these giant call centers where people, sometimes doing this, by the way, against their will, have every single tactic and they are trained to keep you on the phone and to keep you giving them money. And even if he gave up those $2,000 gift cards, until he realizes what's going on, they're going to ask for more and more and more until they've bled you dry.
And then it's one big surprise.
The whole time. Jay says he was so caught up in the moment, he didn't notice these signs warning customers of gift card scams.
What does that tell you? That when you go to buy the random gift cards at Lowe's, there's a whole bunch of signs that say, help protect yourself from gift card scams. I'm telling you, there's so few legitimate reasons to buy all those gift cards.
Well, you know where it makes a lot of sense is Costco. Because you can go to Costco, it's almost like a Groupon there, where you can get $100 worth of, let's say, California Pizza Kitchen gift cards for $80. So you benefit from buying the gift cards at a place like Costco. At Lowe's, where it's $100 for $100, I don't understand the appeal.
You know what we should do? Just collectively as a society, we should just say, enough with the gift cards. We have Venmo. We have Zelle. Just give everyone cash. Everyone loves cash. Cash is king. And then we don't need the gift card industry. You can still have your Costco Groupons or your Costco deal where you can go to Disneyland for an actual affordable price. But if we stopped the need for gift cards, we could wipe all of this out immediately. But we're not going to do that.
And cash is always the right size.
Yes, it is.
And he doesn't.
Well, the problem is the scammers like cash too.
They do.
remember anyone at the store bringing it up to him.
If they would have said something like that, it would have supported that little voice in my head saying,
What are they supposed to say? They get on the intercom and go, hey, the village idiot is back at the gift card section. Will someone please kick his ass out?
The manager should have known something was going on, but I guess it's not on them. But the fact that, again, maybe everyone needs to be trained. Why was this poor contractor on the phone the entire time while he's asking to up their limit of $500 gift cards to $2,000 gift cards?
You know what? I have a prediction.
Yes.
The next thing this guy is going to do is he is going to find some woman on the internet who's about 18 years old and looks like a supermodel who takes a sudden interest in him. And she's going to need plenty of gift cards, too. And then he's going to be back on the news.
So he's going to end up meeting somebody like Stephen Glubeck's girlfriend?
No, this one's also going to be from the same call center as the first one.
Oh, boy.
don't do this.
But Lowe's told NBC7 Response that video from the store shows that a customer service associate and an assistant manager both followed the steps outlined in Lowe's comprehensive employee training program for recognizing and responding to possible gift card scams, and asked the customer what the gift cards were being purchased for, and both advised the customer about gift card scams.
Okay, so he just wasn't paying attention at all to that.
Of course.
I mean, you really, at that point, you don't want to think. I mean, you talk about how the fear motivates you to do something so irrational. The fear while you're in the middle of doing it, that this could be a terrible idea, will also paralyze you.
Well, and then when you also factor in a room temperature IQ, that's a real bad combo.
I sure hope this never happens to you in 40 years.
Can we afford gift cards on the after pension?
No, they said nothing about it.
Jay says once he was out of the store, the fake agent then told him to send him pictures of the gift cards with the numbers scratched off. And
if only he had some red flags.
This is why we do these stories. This is why we're so glad that NBC7 does these stories. Education is our only defense against this nonsense.
$4,000 were gone just like that. According to the FTC, in 2025, it received more than 35,000 scam reports totaling more than $233 million in losses, more than any year since 2021.
Think about that right there that's on the screen. $233 million in just gift card scams in this country, and it goes up almost every single year.
The National Conference of State Legislatures reported in February that also in the last 5 years, 6 states passed laws that required merchants to post visible warnings to customers about potential gift card fraud.
Well, we have that in California, and it didn't do anything.
Nope, and it sounds like they followed the rules.
Well, and in California is a very specific case because thanks to Prop 65, nobody pays attention to any warning signs for everything. When you go to Starbucks and in the middle of the menu is the Prop 65 warning that coffee could give you cancer, nobody reads any warning labels anymore.
Well, and to defend the stores, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. You're always afraid of being sued for one reason or another. What do you do if you're the clerk and you think that this guy's being scammed? You go, no, sorry, sir. Even though you have the money, I can't sell you the gift cards because you look too dumb to handle the transaction.
3 of them required the state government to provide a model notice that merchants can use to fulfill that requirement. And 2 states passed laws with additional requirements related to packaging, record keeping, and employee training.
I don't know that I would put any blame on them.
Jay makes it clear that what happened was all on him. But man, does he wish merchants did more to protect customers from gift card scams.
Some of it was deposits for work that was in progress.
Because it can take a long time to recover financially and emotionally. You know, Jay tells me that he's really relying on credit cards to get past these tough times. And Lowe's also...
Oh, that's not a good time to do that.
There's another Phi Beta Kappa decision.
Poor guy.
Told us that gift card purchases are managed like cash transactions, so there's no way to track who redeems the cards. So scam victims should report it to the store the minute they find out it was all a scam. And remember, no government agency will ever ask you to pay or send money through gift cards. Just hang up if they do.
Okay. Well, it was kind of.
Also, maybe the most important PSA of all, do not answer the phone if you don't know what the number is.
No.
If they're really somebody that has something to say to you, they'll leave you a voicemail. But when
Usually,
you're on,
they'll find you, whether it's through your cell phone number, email, snail mail, whatever.
For him to share his story so others can learn from it for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
important.
had to get that absolutely in there.
What a way to end that story.
So there you go. The sad, sad story of what happened to the contractor that got scammed out of $4,000 in gift cards to Lowe's.
Just wait until some vendor he does business with hits him up and goes, guess what? Sir, your identity's been stolen.
At Stop and Get Gas on YouTube writes in, has John any empathy?
For that guy, no.
Monica writes in, Johnny's too smart for that.
All right. It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is a telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Joe writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com on the $4,000 contractor scam. In 2022, I purchased a car out of state. My bank took 10 minutes of my time to assure my $12,000 wire transfer to an auto dealership was legit. So that guy is causing the rest of us a lot of grief, frustration, and time. You know, I have had multiple times where I go to buy a new laptop at the Apple store, and we're talking about spending $1,500, maybe $2,000, and the credit card puts a stop on the account. Oh, this must be fraud. He doesn't have money for that.
They did that to me when I bought Disneyland tickets at Costco. And Randy, if you want to watch us do the show live, you can do so and participate in the program.
We are now live streaming every single day from noon to 3. So not only can you listen to us on the radio on 790 KABC and 810 KSFO, but you can also watch us on X at Johnny Don't Like, on Facebook at KABC and Facebook at KSFO, on Twitch at Randy Wang Radio, and at least for today, on YouTube at Randy Wang Radio. And what's great is any of these, whether you're commenting on a post or you're participating in the chat room, it goes right to us. We can see your comments, we can read your comments, and some of them even make it on the big screen. And so thank you so much for participating. This feels so interactive. We are loving it. Bill writes in on YouTube, awesome video broadcast, guys. I'm glad so many people are enjoying it. It was 2 weeks of hell to get to where we are today, but I am very happy that it, for the most part, seems to be working very well. So make sure to share this show with as many people as possible, your social circles, your friends, because, hey, this is a place where we can all gather and hang out every single day from noon to 3. The only difference between you guys and us is we can't drink until 3 o'clock.
And we also have a standalone podcast, the Accountability Podcast.
The Accountability Podcast with John Phillips and Randy Wang.
Because at the end of the day, we want to hold people accountable.
We did a full deep dive into why Gavin Newsom will never be president. If you haven't seen it yet, go to youtube.com/@accountability-podcast. Search for KABC on Apple Podcasts. If you have any trouble finding it, go to KABC.com or send us an email at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com and we will point you in the right direction.
All right, we've got one more hour coming up on the John Phillips Show. Don't you go anywhere.
on the insane asylum that is modern day California. It's the John Phillips Show.
And we continue at 2:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wags in Culver City.
We got a question from our audience that is commenting live on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. How are the ladies in Reseda doing?
I know.
You know what we're going to have to do one day where there's like just no news whatsoever, or maybe we'll do this on an episode of the Accountability Podcast, is go through some of our favorite crime blotters from the past, if they're still on YouTube, and bring those to the video. Because whether it's the cashier is dummy, the ladies in Reseda, Oakland guy.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
There's a lot of stories where it'd be really fun to tie the video to the audio that you know so well.
I wonder if the ladies in Reseda have any idea that they're both stars of stage and screen.
No. I know.
Somebody wrote on the chat, they moved to Boyle Heights.
I wonder if they like the scent of pig's feet. Really bad odor right now going on in Boyle Heights.
Yeah, that's not getting better anytime soon. I know we should address, because it's a holiday week. People are asking if we're going to be here live tomorrow. We are not. Tomorrow is we checked, a SAG-AFTRA holiday. So we actually get the day off. You'll hear a Best of the John Phillips Show on KABC and KSFO. No live stream, but we will be back on live video Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
And tomorrow morning, I'm going to be playing golf. So if you start hearing explosions before the fireworks start, it's me, a Titleist, and aluminum siding.
Yeah, typically when Johnny goes to play golf in a specific course that's near a bunch of homes, those homes get a lot of dings.
I call it nature's early morning wake-up call. All right. Well, we know that Gavin Newsom wants state workers to stop working at home and come back to the office in downtown Sacramento, because if they don't, he's not going to have any place to go eat lunch at. Well, state workers are all the way pissed off, to say the least.
They are getting ready to organize. They're even talking about a possible strike.
And I want you to be all the way pissed off.
Because they don't like the way that the governor played this game. For more on the revolt going on with state workers right now, let me pull up the correct caption here. State workers. Nope, this is yesterday's stories. Now I got to go to today's stories, and then we go to, where is it? There we go. State workers. I'm doing it all by myself, people. State workers stage protest. Here is KCRA 3 in Sacramento.
Now to a live look from our state capitol. Several laws took effect today across California. That includes Governor Gavin Newsom's return to office mandate. State departments have been letting many of their employees work remotely ever since the pandemic, but now
there are a lot of employees that got hired under the premise that, oh, this is a remote job, and they've never, ever been to Sacramento.
Yeah, but Gavin wants to be president, so they need to go sit in an office somewhere.
I don't get how this helps him be president. I do not understand. It is not, this single act is not going to revitalize downtown Sacramento, and it sure as hell isn't going to revitalize the downtowns like Los Angeles and Oakland. So there's still going to be plenty of empty downtowns to point fingers at Gavin Newsom's failures over the last 7 years.
state workers are required to work in person 4 days a week.
On top of the frustrations with the mandate, some workers are now waiting for a new contract with the state. The largest union representing state employees rallied today, and KCRA3 Cecil Hannibal was there to hear from those workers.
The SEIU Local 1000, the largest union representing state workers, held the largest rally it's seen in the past 10 years. It's all over contract negotiations with the state, and a big part of what they want is telework options for state employees. From the West Steps to the Capitol Rotunda, the largest union representing state workers rallied in and around the state capitol today.
We're out here to hold the line and to show the governor and the administration that they're going to have to come with some more.
if you're watching us do the broadcast live, this protest looks like every other SEIU protest I've ever seen since I've been alive, which is they're all out on the grass wearing purple shirts that are 2 sizes too small.
At a glance, it looked like it was a McDonald's Grimace Festival.
It does. There's Grimace, there's Barney, there's another Grimace, there's another Barney.
So I need you to continue talking to your workers.
You really need Cecily at these things. That's not going to do it.
Get that money.
You know, one of them looked like Prince, all decked out in the purple, if Prince got stung by bees and had an allergic reaction.
The SEIU Local 1000 says its contract with the state expired Tuesday after it says the state failed to negotiate in good faith.
A livable pay raise, affordable health care, and retirement security. Return to office is one of the things that really matters to our individual people.
And adding fuel to the fire is the governor's return to office mandate taking effect Wednesday, forcing agencies to...
See, they can show up to Sacramento when they want to.
Oh, yeah, they just need the right motivation.
To bring workers back in the office at least 4 days a week.
We're losing talent. We're losing people with confusion. Morale is bad.
Stephen Boyd says it's up.
Was morale ever good?
Yeah, I've been to the DMV many times. I wouldn't describe that experience as being in a place where morale is off the charts.
And we're talking about mostly positions of paper pushers and the inner workings of the bureaucracy. Is anybody really motivated to do these jobs?
No. You take one look at this picture of all of these SEIU people protesting in Sacramento, and it's easy to understand why we sent $30 billion in EDD fraud to criminals.
Each agency to figure out how to implement the mandate. His building was designed for hybrid work, which he says is now creating problems.
We have people scrambling to cram people into desks, sharing sometimes 2, 3 people in a single cube. These are not customer-facing positions.
This is the other issue that Gavin seems to not pay attention to. There isn't enough current office space in Sacramento for all of these workers, so they're having to cram together in cubicles and in meeting rooms so they can all get on Zoom together, but still in person.
Seems like a great experience. Morale must be high.
It's almost like this is like every other Gavin Newsom thing that we've dealt with in the last 7 years. Big, bold proclamation, very little attention to detail and follow through.
2 or 3 people in a queue.
While others say it's suddenly making working for the state more expensive.
You know, if you're working 2 or 3 people in a cubicle, you better make sure you know what they brought for lunch.
How much do you hate the smell of microwave popcorn in an office? You know, George W. wouldn't allow it in the White House when he was president.
The old building, not the building that we're in now, but the old building on Lossianic and Fairfax, it smelled like microwave popcorn for a good long time. Did I ever tell you the story how I almost burned down that building?
No.
So this is 2010, and I'm not even technically an employee at KABC, but I was working for the John and Jeff show, who were renting out a studio there, an overnight syndicated show. And they were on break, so I was just in there running tapes. And I decided, instead of getting tons and tons and tons of McDonald's, I was going to be healthy that week. And so I bought a bunch of Easy Mac at Ralph's. And I put an Easy Mac into that old school industrial microwave we had in the break room. And I forgot to put water in it. And John, do you know what happens if you put an Easy Mac in the microwave without any water?
Nothing good can happen.
The entire building started smoking. The woman doing overnight security came to get me and said, "What the hell did you do?" That's a true story. I learned my lesson, though. I just went to McDonald's instead.
As to parking and childcare.
You're going to have congested highways. You're going to have zero parking left in Sacramento. So you're going to have cars driving around, looking for a place to
You're not even be able to get to the donut shop.
And you're going to have a loss of employees.
Yeah, you had at one point, I mean, it was peaceful, but the SEIU stormed the Capitol.
It's the most exercise they've gotten in a long time.
You're generalizing.
Going to be a mass exodus.
And the lead negotiator for the union says they started negotiations back in May and tells KCRA3 the state waited until the day before the contract expired to decline every provision and offered no solutions. So we reached out to Cal HR for a response. In a statement, the agency...
I love how Gavin bends over backwards for the unions for 7 out of the 8 years he's governor. But now that he is on to loftier ambitions, he wants to show that he has a spine.
Well, he doesn't need him anymore.
He might.
He said Cal HR respects the confidentiality of the bargaining process and does not speak on ongoing negotiations. Cal HR remains committed to continuing to negotiate in good faith with SEIU Local 1000. And we're told they go back to the table on Monday. In the newsroom, Cecil Hannibal, KCRA 3 News.
So there you go. Gavin Newsom's return to work order has started, and the workers in Sacramento, they are not happy about it.
No, they aren't. And Randy, we also have a story about human trafficking, and for once, it doesn't involve a massage parlor.
No, it is your typical human trafficking story, this one involving a motel, a no-tell motel, that just happened to be on, John, can you guess the street?
Would 3-inch shrimp be able to guess it correctly?
Figueroa. Nothing good happens at the Figueroa Motel, kids. For more on this, we go to Fox 11 in Los Angeles.
Yeah, today we learned that operation, in fact, identified over 50 victims, as you mentioned right now, some of which are, in fact, minors. It's just the latest crackdown, Christine, on sex trafficking here in Los Angeles. And law enforcement say they want to send a clear message today to anyone who even thinks about continuing this.
They target vulnerability. They recruit via social media.
Wednesday morning, federal...
More great things about social media. Wait, we're trying to make a living on it now. I guess I got to stop trashing Facebook.
Local law enforcement executing sweeps along South Los Angeles Figueroa corridor.
It doesn't help that, again, this is why we love being able to add the video to this. It's one thing to hear these stories, but John, it's a whole other thing seeing the, and I'm sorry to use this term, John get perp walked out of the no-tell motel wearing a World Cup jersey and shorts.
Yeah, that's why I have no sympathy at all for people named Karen. Karens think they have it bad? Okay, try being named after someone who picks up prostitutes.
Well, and if you're not that, you're a toilet.
Or an unidentified dead body.
It's part of an ongoing operation to crack down on sex trafficking.
These defendants recruited runaways, girls from foster care systems, and other vulnerable victims who turn to social media for affection.
First Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley says his office has charged over 24 defendants with human trafficking violations over the last 11 months. He adds some of the victims are young adults, while others are children. While he did not disclose their exact age, he claims some of the victims have faced horrific violence.
One victim was forced to engage in sexual activities on the same day she was forced to have an invasive abortion procedure.
Holy cow.
That's a rough day.
For parents, I would say, you know, your kids need your time. They need your attention.
Tina Chang works for Olive Crest, whose mission is to prevent child abuse. She says it's important that parents stay connected to their children, especially as traffickers lean on social media to lure in their young victims.
Young people don't have the ability to, figure out who's lying and who's not lying. And I don't think people realize how close all of our children are to being preyed upon, because it's just that one person that slips into your DMs and is now promising you things.
Well, and one of the problems that we have specifically in California is that the laws are so lax. Even though we've made adjustments, it's still not enough that most of these victims, especially the minors, they'll refuse to testify against their pimps because they know the pimps are getting out soon and the pimps will get revenge.
Well, pimps are known for having tempers.
Federal leaders say their joint operation just happened to coincide during the World Cup, but add they do tend to see an uptick in sex trafficking during major sporting events.
Yeah, what is that about?
You would think that people who are going to major sporting events have to have a little coin in their pocket.
But if your whole drive is that you want to go to the World Cup so you can watch some soccer and go play with some prostitutes, then go to Mexico where that crap is legal in Tijuana. But I guess they're not getting the thrill of picking up the 17-year-olds on Fig. And sometimes it's lower than 17. It's really disgusting out there.
Well, they said earlier in the report that it was a lot of runaways that end up being used as prostitutes.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, Little Orphan Annie has no idea how good she had it.
Might be time for a remake of that story.
People are coming in from out of the state, out of the country, and there's a higher demand. And so we see an uptick. So we always make a concerted effort to increase awareness.
This is one of these issues where I wonder, when we have full prevalence of the sex robots, will this kind of thing go away? Or is there just a certain kind of person that just needs to have it the worst way possible?
And enforcement for sex trafficking, human trafficking.
Now, LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell also saying that just this year alone, they've helped save 75 juveniles from exploitation, just highlighting the importance of these raids and ongoing operations. We're live in downtown Los Angeles. I'm Rachel Aragon, Fox 11 News.
We know this area has been a big problem for a long time. Are they talking about more ongoing operations in this area, more work in this area?
They did.
One of the problems that's happened is because of the fear that the city was going to look real bad by all the street walking that goes up on Figueroa, they did start cracking down on it with these task forces earlier this year, whether it's through the city, whether it's through the county prosecutor's office. But a lot of that sex trafficking just moved to Koreatown and to Larchmont, and then those neighborhoods are getting plagued by it.
What's weird is I think a lot of people assumed that prostitution would move to the internet and you wouldn't see the streetwalkers on the usual corridors. But what really happened is you have prostitution on the net, but you still have the streetwalkers and the prostitutes and the pimps and everything else in the neighborhoods too.
They mentioned continuing in that.
And everything that Scott Wiener's bill to decriminalize what they call the victims of this, the prostitutes, making sure that they are declared as victims and they can see no criminal charges, it has not helped the situation at all.
Figueroa corridor, but also they said it's not just going to be that area, it's going to be other parts as well. For privacy purposes, of course, they don't want to mention exactly where they're going to go next, but again, it is beyond just that corridor.
Thoughts are with those young people. All right.
They're probably tracking pink Cadillacs left and right.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Big crackdown on human trafficking in Los Angeles during the World Cup.
What a combo. It's the John Phillips Show.
Hey, everybody. It's time for the Weekend Review, brought to you by our friends at Sterling Venue Ventures and where music meets the soul.com. Sterling Venue Ventures, your local concert promoter, has some great entertainment coming your way. Friday, July 10th, it's Bobby Brown at the Saban Theater. And coming to the Canyon in Agora Hills, Thelma Houston, Too Short, Ambrosia, Pancho Sanchez, Young Dubliners, Orianthi, Asleep at the Wheel, Danny Seraphine's Chicago Legacy, Henry Capono, Oingo Boingo former members, and more. And coming soon to the Oxnard Performing Arts Center, Psychedelic Furs, John B. and Kenny Lattimore, Louis Singer, and more. For information on these great events and more, go to the website, wheremusicmeetsthesoul.com. That's wheremusicmeetsthesoul.com. There's some great events coming up this summer, and there's some very affordable tickets, wheremusicmeetsthesoul.com.
It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you can now watch the show live and participate in the program.
We are now streaming live all over the interwebs in a most interactive way we can ever do this show. Sure, we take your phone calls. Sure, we have your emails. But now you can watch us do the show, react to the stories along with us, and you can comment in the chat. So there are 5 different ways to listen to us and watch us now. You can go to X at Johnny Don't Like. You can go to Facebook, KABC, Facebook, KSFO. You should be following those anyway. You can go to Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. And at least for today, we are on YouTube, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Randy Wang Radio. And if you put your comments in any of those, you're going to see them on the screen possibly during the breaks or even on the air. We're reading everything that comes in, and we love having this. And, you know, we did this around this time yesterday. We love hearing where you're listening from, whether you're in Southern California, the Bay Area, or we had someone listening yesterday, Johnny, from South Africa. We're going all over the place.
We did. And we also have a brand new standalone podcast.
You should really give it a listen or a watch this weekend if you haven't yet. The Accountability Podcast with John Phillips and Randy Wang.
Accountability.
We did a deep dive into why exactly Gavin Newsom will never be president. You can check that out by searching for KABC on Apple Podcasts. You can go to the Accountability Podcast on YouTube. If you have any trouble finding it, just email me at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com, and I'll send you all the links. You can also get it at KABC.com and KSFO.com.
We have 30 more minutes to go. Don't you go anywhere. Buying a car doesn't have to be painful. Just ask listener Pat from Woodland Hills, who went through carpro.com. After giving all of his info to carpro.com, Pat was contacted by Dan over at the dealership and got exactly what he wanted, which was a RAV4. Dan got right back to him, asked all the right questions, found the exact vehicle that he wanted, and kept him updated the entire time. When he picked it up, Dan greeted him personally, introduced him to the team, took him on a test drive. Then they spent 30 minutes together after the sale going over all the features, the cameras, the bells and whistles. He taught him how to set everything up. He said it was the easiest car buying experience he's ever had, and get this, got great pricing too. It's a twofer. He's already recommending CarPro and the dealership to all his coworkers and friends. If you want that kind of treatment, go to carpro.com or call or text Tom Haynes directly on his cell phone at 818-435-6797. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Well, every so often, a friend of the show makes the news. And oh boy, did a friend of the show make the news this week, as CNN's Alex Michelson stirred the pot when he made a remark about two potential candidates for president in the Democratic primary for 2028.
Let me pull this up right now. This is coming to us off of Twitter, so just give me 1 second right here. Here is what was said on The Story Is with Alex Michelson.
But on the Jewish thing, because he is...
wrap it up real quick.
I was saying, he is Jewish. He might be the Democrat that can thread the needle, because even though he's Jewish, he's very critical of the Israeli government, very critical of Benjamin Netanyahu. He has credibility on that issue. So it's possible that I think he could fill that lane in between the two extremes of the Democratic Party.
Ask Scott Wiener how that's working out for him.
Oh, there's another friend of the show. That's Roxanne Hogue.
I thought she looked familiar. Hey, Roxanne.
Yeah, as a Jew, some people read a little more Jewish than other people, and John Ossoff may not read as Jewish as Josh Shapiro does, for whatever that's worth.
Wait, what is controversial about that?
I don't know. I saw that and I go, okay, what's the problem? And you know what else I thought?
What'd you think?
I said something very similar on CNN in 2020, and I didn't get any blowback.
Well, you didn't get any blowback, but the other John Phillips probably did. When John used to work on CNN, most of the people who were hate watching him on CNN didn't realize that his Twitter handle was Johnny Don't Like. So they started going after a different John Phillips, the one who's an attorney in Florida who ended up representing family members related to the whole Carol Baskin thing.
Oh, the Tiger King controversy. Yes, that was wonderful. Every time I'd rattle the cage, his life got ruined, and I never really heard any of the blowback.
But yeah, what's the big deal about that comment?
Okay, so here's what I said. I said something slightly different. He talked about it in terms of religion, and I talked about it in terms of age. And I think it's a legitimate point, because when you're talking about politics and you're talking about how people read, that directly influences their electability or viability as a candidate in certain respects. So the point that I made that was similar to his in the framing was that there are certain people who are old who play old. And there are people who are old who don't play old. And it's just true. So, for example, Grampy Joe is what, 80 years old now?
I think he was 80 when he was in office. I think he's 82 or 83 now.
Okay. He's a guy who, if he's 82 or 83, he looks like he's about 904. He's an old man. And I don't know if it's related to his brain injury or if it's just genetics or what. But he plays old. He's constantly falling. He's constantly tripping over his own words. He's constantly doing old man things. So he looks every bit of his 80-something years old. But there are people who are old who don't play old. So, for example, if you're a fan of daytime TV, remember Regis Philbin from Live with Regis and Kathy Lee? Regis Philbin was ancient virtually the entire time he was on that program. How much older than Kathy Lee do you think he was?
Well, that's something we could easily type into the old internet box.
He had to be, I don't know, 25 years older than Kathy Lee, at least. At least.
Regis was 22 years and 9 days older than Kathy Lee Gifford.
Okay. But Regis never played old. Even though he was an old man on TV, you didn't watch Regis and think to yourself, oh my God, look at that old man. I wonder if he's at the McDonald's at 6 a.m. with the newspaper talking to 4 other guys the same age.
Up until he died, he was always full of energy.
He was. And that's what your takeaway would be if you're watching Regis on TV. Steve Edwards is another one who was always the older guy on set with our friend Jillian and Dorothy Lucy on Good Day LA for years and years and years. Steve never played old. You look at Steve Edwards today and you don't say to yourself, oh, there's an old man. You say, damn, Steve looks like he could bench press more than us. He looks good. Now that's an athlete. Donald Trump, same thing. Donald Trump is what, 80 years old now, something like that?
He just turned 80.
That guy has nothing but energy. Nothing but energy. He only sleeps like 4 hours a night, and he just goes and goes and goes. He never looks tired. He never looks out of it. You don't see him falling down on stage.
Sometimes you see him falling asleep in the office.
Well, it depends on who's talking. But he doesn't play old. And the same could be said for religion. And I don't think it's a slam on religion in general. I don't think it's a slam on any particular denomination. I think it's true. You watch Fox News, for example, and you watch Laura Ingraham. And Laura Ingraham does a show in the afternoon, and she always has the great big crucifix right on her chest. Not a tattoo. She wears the cross. I want to clear that up. No cleavage tattoos that I'm alleging here. But she has the jewelry. And she constantly talks about religion and God whenever it comes up. Fine. She's a Christian woman who believes in Jesus and the whole thing. And she's very comfortable talking about it. And she's very comfortable showing Christian displays when she's on the air. I would imagine that there are people on that network or other networks who are just as religious as her, but don't have the jewelry and maybe don't bring it up as often in public forums. Now, that doesn't mean they're any more or any less religious than her. It just means that she plays more religious on air than other people on that network. But, Jesse Waters may go to church just as much as she does. I don't know. But she plays more religious than Jesse Waters does, at least from what we know by watching them on television. And I think the same could be true for Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, who was in the IDF, I believe, at one point in the past. So if you're looking at identifying someone's religion, something like that would kind of serve as a reminder, okay, the guy's Jewish. And then John Ossoff may not have those same attributes or same biographical details. The same way that if you're a Christian who wears the cross, you're more identifiable as a Christian than someone who doesn't.
I didn't know John Ossoff was a Jew until about 15 minutes ago.
Me too. I had no clue. And I was on CNN the night he was running for Congress as part of the election coverage, and I had no clue the guy was Jewish. So I think it's a fair point. I don't think it's insulting of the Jewish faith. I don't think it's insulting of faith in general. I don't think he was attempting to slur either candidate. I think it's a fair comment about how the public perceives people.
And he's also, Alex, the person who made the comment, is Jewish himself. And you know what? The Jews are allowed to make fun of themselves.
Well, I don't even think he was making fun of him. I just think he was talking about a biographical aspect of a candidate's presentation.
I don't see anything controversial about what was said on there. There is an economy out there of people who will rage tweet anything because rage equals clicks. And in today's world, clicks, no matter what they're for, equals money. People get paid to bleep post and go after anybody for any little thing. But does the average person get offended by what Alex Michelson said last night on CNN? I don't think so.
Well, what's funny is I went back, and I, of course, can't look in my own feed because all of my hate tweets go to the other guy. But I wonder if when I made that remark about age, if he got any blowback. Maybe we should call him and find out.
I'd love to find out if they ever found Carol Baskin's husband.
You know, he's like the Larry H. Parker of Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
I was down there, and he has billboards all over the place because I initially tried to buy at John Phillips from him, and he wouldn't sell it. And he said, you know, I have this really successful business. And he actually came into the studio and met me in person one time. And I really didn't know the extent of it until I went to Jacksonville, and every other billboard was him.
That's great.
It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Ricardo writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com, listening in San Jose. During my working days, a certain group of employees would nuke their leftover fish in the lunchroom. The boss came in one day, got a whiff of the lunchroom, and issued an email to all employees that the microwave was off limits for fish.
Let's go to John in San Luis Obispo. John, hello.
Hey, John. Nice to hear from you. Haven't had a chance to hear you much lately because sometimes I'm out in the hills. But I got a little bit, and I wanted to know the name of the lady that you were interviewing last night who had been doing all the auditing in California. And what a great show this is, because no one else gets these guests. And there's some good local stations down here in the Santa Maria, San Luis Obispo area. But these guests you seem to get are very knowledgeable, and I know you know a lot about it, which is one of the reasons why I've listened to you for so long. She was talking about all the auditing that she was doing, and I think you inferred that this was one of the biggest reasons Gavin Newsom will never make it to the presidency, which literally makes me giddy to think of, because I never want that evil man within 5 miles of Trump's throne, so to speak.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. And Randy, it sounds like he's referring to a replay.
Yeah, so this show airs live noon to 3 every single day, but up on KABC and on KSFO, there are best ofs that run at like 9 o'clock at night and 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to guess he's referring to one of your interviews with Julie Watts, the CBS Investigates reporter, that talked about how the state of California has ignored all the recommendations from state auditors. The legislature doesn't care. Gavin doesn't care. And some of the things that the auditors had pointed out before COVID was, hey, this EDD system could be a massive fraud issue.
Could be it. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, so asking me that question, I don't know.
Well, I can look up as to which best of it was, because I'm the one that put these together, or at least I was the one that put these together. I'm passing off that duty because I have way too many things going on right now. But hey, you can listen to us on your own time with the podcast. You can also watch the show on your own time with the podcast. We'll make sure the whole 3-hour show is up for you to see on YouTube over the weekend. If you're listening right now and you want to watch what this like is on your own time, we'll have it ready for you. That's for sure.
All right. It is 4th of July weekend, and a lot of people are going to go to picnics. They're going to go to pool parties. They're going to go, to the beach. And if you go to a beach in Northern California, you might be in for a surprise.
Specifically, if you're going to the beach in Alameda, where the teens like to do those takeovers with water guns, where one of the water guns pissed off somebody with a real gun. For more on those takeover concerns, here is Cron 4.
Developing tonight, community activists and East Bay residents are calling for immediate action to stop another beach takeover by teenagers before it happens.
Those damn kids.
Happens. Just 2 weeks ago, a similar gathering.
You get child irresponsibility and social media, and it's a recipe for disaster every single time.
You know, I bet they don't wait the required amount of time to swim after eating too.
Did turn violent. 2 people were shot near Alameda's Cron Memorial State Beach. Cron 4's Lindsay Ford has the story.
I love that children laugh here. I love that families gather here and that this shoreline belongs to all of us. Right now, it does not feel like it belongs to any of us.
No, well, if they're shooting at each other at the beach, I'm sure it feels like Normandy.
Good afternoon, Alameda.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Johnny, look who's at the podium right next to the guy on the mic. That's Seneca.
Oh, that is Seneca.
Boy, all of our people are making it into the background of all these stories we're doing. This is great.
We're here to call out the lack of public safety that's happening right here in Alameda, in particular, Crown Memorial Beach.
Saturday morning, residents and civic leaders gathered outside Alameda City Hall, urging city officials to shut down another social media organized beach takeover planned later Saturday evening.
Fun without safety is not freedom.
The circulating social media beach takeover.
Look at these flyers that are all over the internet telling the kids to get all crazy.
It's almost as if it's organized.
Why, yes, it is.
Flyer shown here.
And the top, it says, pull up, bring ya people.
Apparently, they don't have spell check.
Nope.
What I've witnessed at these takeovers is that it is not a celebration. It is chaos. Young people without any real adult guidance, without any...
The person behind the lady that's speaking right now, two things. His shirt is riding up on him. And two, he's holding up a picture of his window with a bullet hole in it. There is a lot of fun in watching these videos and not just hearing the sound.
Safety structure without any accountability.
Hey, that's the name of our podcast.
It is.
A mother of two and Jack, a teenager, both spoke out against the beach takeover. They're both Alameda residents.
But what happened on June 11th crossed a line. When a gathering ends with violence, when people are hurt, and when the members of our broader community potentially lose...
That's a big old bullet hole.
Oh, my God. Is that a bullet hole or a whale's blowhole?
...their life, we have a responsibility to take that seriously. No teenager should have to worry about their safety when they go to the beach.
That's right.
No family should have to worry about whether their child will come home safely.
According to the Alameda Post, a unsanctioned teen beach takeover here in Alameda turned violent on the night of June 11th when two people were shot during a large gathering near Robert W. Crown Memorial State Beach.
They got shot with water guns and they fired back with assault rifles.
Well, you get shot with one of those, you'll have your own blowhole.
The incident marked the latest in a series of social media organized beach takeovers and
it doesn't help that they call them assassin parties.
Assassin Sunday, I like parties. That's the name of it.
This is the end of society, right?
Is this one sponsored by Bud Light?
Assassin water gun games that Alameda officials had warned could become dangerous.
Not a single elected official that I can see has made any public statement that it would not be allowed because it was unpermitted and unregulated.
Phillips lives along the shoreline and recalls hearing such gunshots.
The gunshots. It's freaky, it's scary.
Jack says he's spoken to local businesses who are also concerned about these beach takeovers.
And I've heard of instances of shoplifting, individuals taking refuge in the bathroom to escape police. It's gotten out of control.
It really, really has. So have a fun summer out there.
Oh, yeah. Make sure to wear your sunblock, wear a hat, stay hydrated, and avoid those bullets. We'll see you on Monday after the holiday. Enjoy your long weekend, everyone.